asked you guys in a YouTube community poll to post your most unpopular Call of Duty opinion. We have 10 of these and we're gonna go over them right now. Infinite Warfare is overhated. It actually got almost 1,000 upvotes. I'm not gonna lie, it surprised me. I feel like if you were around during that time period, when this game was announced, when this game came out, let's just say it wasn't very good. To this day, I don't know if this is fact still, but I believe it was one of the most disliked YouTube videos of the entire existence of the YouTube. And also, I believe it was the #1 gaming disliked video. I guess the community didn't care for this. They were not ready for another jetpack COD. After we got Advanced Warfare, after we got Black Ops 3, we were kind of ready to get back with the boots on the ground style of old. And then they announced this game, and then they announced that it was in space, and everybody's minds just exploded. And you know the rest of the story. They came out with COD 4 Remastered because I think they were trying to get sales for this game because it was not going to perform well. But we actually did a live stream campaign. I had never finished this campaign. I just got to be completely honest with you. You guys are right. This campaign was unbelievable. Like a gripping story, characters that you actually liked, and just, I mean, the robot, man. I mean, come on now. Peace to the fallen. And I think another thing too that is underrated about this game is the zombies mode. I think just that arcadey vibe, 80s feel. I don't know. I really enjoyed it personally. But multiplayer wise, here's where I kind of disagree on the overhated thing. I do think the multiplayer was not that good. Forgettable maps. I don't really remember very many of them. But you know what? I am gonna agree with this. I do think it was overhated, a product of the time, and people not giving it a chance like myself really made this game overhated. So you know what, Sebastian? I agree with you. Okay, next up, Call of Duty World War II was actually pretty good. Now, again, like Infinite Warfare, I got a ton of these comments. And here's the funny thing. It feels like it's got a very similar pattern. When this game came out, Fortnite was at its like prime. And I gotta be honest with you, I was still playing COD, but I was definitely playing Fortnite. So another situation where I didn't really give this game a fair shot. And if you guys know anything about this game, it had a very, 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 very bad start. After the revamp, after they kind of like loosened up on the realism that World War II had, it became a really, really good game. So here's what I'll say about this comment. It was actually a pretty good game, but it wasn't a good game till like 6 to 7 months in. If you were to say this after the first month, I would say this is a terrible take. But you know, the final product, you can still play it today pretty frequently too. I think this is correct. It is a actual solid Call of Duty title. We're continuing the theme of people saying like games that were kind of hated were actually fire. We got a lot of these in the comment section as well. Advanced Warfare was fire, speaking of fire. And here's the thing with Advanced Warfare. All right, I have to explain this because I feel like a lot of people don't understand or they don't remember. Okay, the golden age of COD happens. And people, believe it or not, after Black Ops 2 were getting very tired with the formula. They were very bored with it. And then Call of Duty Ghosts comes out. And let me tell you something. It was the same feeling as the people had after Infinite Warfare or after Black Ops 3. They were so sick of boots on the ground. And you know what? Here comes this game called Titanfall out of nowhere that the makers of the original Call of Duty were having and doing with the Respawn Studios. And people were just going, you know how COD fans are, including myself, were like, we want something new. So guess what? Sledgehammer does exactly what the people want. They go and make a brand new game, a brand new system. And I'm not gonna lie to you. For me, I enjoyed this game. I don't know if I'm a jetpacker or not. I don't know if I want to admit this to you guys. Campaign was really cool, having that real legit person that was like an actor. I thought that was very unique. The multiplayer to me was just so fun. I loved boosting around. Again, very iconic maps too. I can remember a bunch of them. Riot, Solar, Detroit. I mean, these are good maps. These are good maps. So Sledgehammer, I tip the cap to these guys for giving it a try. Yes, SBMM was huge in this game. It was very strict. Supply drops were at an all-time just disgusting thing where they were giving you the BAU 27 and the ASM 1. They gave you more stats, better stats. I mean, that can't happen. So like you have to knock it down a little bit for those two things. But overall, it was a good game. And I think truthfully, I'm about to say something that might be controversial. If you didn't like it, you might have been bad at the game. Moving on to the next one. COD Ghosts needs a sequel. Okay, again, these games came out like 10, 11 years ago, so I've been enjoying replaying them and being like, oh my gosh, I've totally forgot about this. The one thing that I noticed that I guess there wasn't too many people that talked about this, but the campaign, there was a lot of instances where it reminded me of the Dark Knight series. A couple missions, a couple levels, a couple scenes. It was kind of funny, and I actually covered it in a short. It was cool though, because it kind of fired me up because I love those movies so much. But the multiplayer for COD Ghosts, people don't really talk about it. Extinction, I feel like people wanted zombies. They didn't really like they appreciated the effort of trying something new, but they didn't really like it. So it's like you have two of the three that were not really well liked, and then you have the one that was well liked that we're waiting for that sequel because the campaign ends in a cliffhanger. If you didn't know, spoiler alert. I don't know. This one's tough for me. It needs a sequel in the terms of a campaign, sure, but I didn't really like the multiplayer or the extinction, so I gotta disagree with this one. Having 10 attachments on a single gun is amazing. I'm just gonna flat out say it. I completely disagree with this. I am sorry. I thought that the Gunsmith system in Modern Warfare was a great idea. It was clean, it was simple, it was to the point. There wasn't a crazy amount of attachments, and then Vanguard comes in, throws in 10, and it just gets so complicated and so insane. Every gun has no recoil. I don't know what's going on, but it's just wild. I disagree with this one big time. Keep it, pick 10, and leave it like that for the rest of eternity. Okay, Black Ops 4's Battle Royale mode was the best. Let's break this one down because it is a tough one to break down. Let's just be real. If you didn't play Blackout because you were playing other games at the time, or Fortnite or whatever, like we talked about earlier, Blackout was a good Battle Royale. There was two big problems. Number one, they didn't really update it that often. Let's be real. Actually, there was three problems. They didn't update it that often. It was this major project that got thrown together last minute. It got replaced. You know, Blackout replaced the campaign. They had like 9 months to work on it. So I feel like they were always playing catch up. There was never ever time where they were pre-planning like Warzone does now. It always felt like we were just missing content. There wasn't a lot of updates. Like the MOG shotgun was good back in the day, and it's still good if you go try to play that game right now. Number two, this game was $60, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, a lot of these games nowadays, they're free to play, and then you buy stuff, cosmetics, so they can earn their money back. And again, when there was the rise of that free Fortnite, people were choosing Fortnite. They weren't playing a $60 battle royale, and that's just life. That's just what happens. And then the third one, it never got crossplay. If it gets crossplay, if it gets free to play, I think we would get Blackout 2 in Cold War. I think we would have gotten it, but because of Warzone's success, it's free to play, it's crossplay. It's just overall like loved by the player base. They scrapped Blackout 2. I'm still sad about that to this day. I just wish they would have given it one more try, because I gotta be honest with you, I love landing in Black Ops themed areas. I hope at one point they'll scrap Warzone completely and try something new. I don't see that happening for years, but maybe one day. Slide ruined COD's once great gunplay. This one's tough too. I think this one I'm gonna disagree with. I just feel like the movement in the games now, I really do enjoy them personally. If they got rid of them, would I be upset? Would I be okay with going back to the normal Black Ops 2 movement where it's just regular sprinting? There's only dolphin diving? 100%. I just don't know if they're ever going to do that again. But there was a teaser in Black Ops 6 that a lot of people said they didn't see tactical sprinting. So there was like a 1 second reveal of gameplay, and they saw a guy on the left sprinting normally, like Black Ops 2 sprinting, and then the one guy on the right was sliding. So if they bring like Black Ops 3 movement back, I'm totally down. Not the jetpacks. Picture Black Ops 3 movement without jetpacks. I think that'd be pretty good. COD 2019 was the best Call of Duty since Black Ops 3. Well, that's kind of a tough one. As I talked about in the previous CODs, the other ones were pretty good, but for me, they were a retrospective. They were me looking back on them. At the time, I didn't really like either one of them, like World War II and Infinite Warfare. So I gotta almost agree with this one. MW19 is weird because it was such a big franchise. It was a big leap to completely reboot the franchise and try again, and I think they kind of nailed it in MW19. Now there's a couple things I didn't like. Obviously, no red dots on the minimap when people shot in multiplayer is just the most egregious thing I've ever heard in my entire life. If somebody doesn't have a silencer on their gun, you have to penalize the person. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. They brought in doors and they got rid of dead silence. Like, let's be real, if MW19 has no doors, dead silence as a perk, and red dots on the minimap, I think that game is pretty good. Also, I mean, can we talk about the iconic guns in that game? MP5, MP7, the Car 98, the Grau, the M4. You can talk about those guns for days. The Bruin. I mean, you can just keep going. So overall, COD 2019 was a pretty well-versed package, and that hadn't happened since Black Ops 3. So you know what, FPS guy, I like where your head's at there. This guy said BO2 was mid. And it actually has 65 upvotes, which I am very upset at some of you that are following in this community. We need to have a talk. One of the best campaigns of all time, not just in Call of Duty, in gaming history. One of the best multiplayers for most people that play Call of Duty. It's either that or MW2 for most. It's my number one. And then zombies. Hello? I just got to be honest with you. Like I said, I'm going to keep this short and simple. Black Ops 2 is probably my number one Call of Duty game of all time. To say that game is mid, it might be a crime in 17 states. So I would watch that. That's offensive. Cold War has the best campaign of a Call of Duty game. So again, we just played this game the other day. 3 weeks ago, we played it live again. And I never finished it when it came out in 2020. I was so entrenched in Warzone that I didn't even play the campaign. I played Cold War to rank up my guns and then went back to Warzone. So getting a fresh take on that, knowing the history of this game, knowing it was done during the pandemic and people were doing the voice lines and the video shots were at their house. I mean, you got to be honest, it turned out pretty well for what they had. It wasn't a Treyarch campaign. It was a Raven Software. Raven Software was assisting. So I have high hopes because Raven Software is doing Black Ops 6 campaign as well. I thought it was a very, very good campaign. Do I think it was the best campaign? No. I would probably give the best campaign to Black Ops 1 personally. Black Ops 2 is probably right behind it, and then Cold War. But again, if you have this opinion, I don't think you're crazy. I like the fact that there was kind of two different options to choose from. I'll never forget the one mission. It was the mission where you're trying to choose a path and you're in like the jungle. I mean, that was so awesome to me. And I hope they do that again in Black Ops 6. I hope they keep that formula. But I disagree with your opinion, but I bet you there's more people that agree with that. And you know what? I respect that. Okay, and that was 10 of the most unpopular Call of Duty takes from that community post. Let me know down below in the comments. Did you think that any of these were correct? Did you think any of these were absolutely insane? And also, if you like Call of Duty and you like podcasts, I do have my own. It's called Going Dark. Go subscribe to that channel. It'll be in the description. All right, y'all. We'll see you in the next one.